All right, so you should all have the paper that says Picture Perfect Practice. And you see that we have some expressions written over here to the side. These expressions, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, are very similar to the examples that we recorded in our notes. They're not the same numbers, but they're very similar. So use your notes to help guide you in your thinking. What I'm going to do for you now is I want us to look at numbers 5 and 6. So before I forget, go ahead and put your name on your paper at the top so that when you turn it in, we have a record of who you are. And again, I want you to go down to number 5. So I think the first thing that we want to acknowledge is, what kind of problem is this? Is this joining equal sets, or is this part of a whole? So the first thing that I notice is that I have groups, and we're multiplying that by each. So most definitely this is joining equal sets. So please go ahead and label that just like me. And what that means is that I have 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've already drawn the pictures for me on this one. And I'm going to be cutting it into groups of equal pieces of 5 and shading 4 of the 5 pieces. So we have a pentagon here because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And in order to cut it evenly, the best way to do that is to take your pencil and draw a dot in the middle. And from the middle, go ahead and extend a line out, and that will give you pretty even pieces. Again, a dot in the middle, and then extend it to each corner point that you see. Dot in the middle, and a dot in the middle. That's pretty even, pretty equal pieces. Now what we want to do is we want to shade in 4 of the 5 of each picture. So we're going to shade in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I go and count my pieces, I know that I have 4, 8, 12, 16 fifths, because each one of these was cut into fifths. And when I see my answer, 16 fifths, I know that it is improper. So I have to think about how many groups of 5 are in the number 16. So that's really like thinking over here to the side that we have the number 16 and we're dividing by 5. So how many groups of 5 are in 16? That will definitely give us 3 wholes. So 3 is a large number, a whole number. It gets to stand all by itself. 3 groups of 5 is going to give me 15. And I subtract and I get 1 left over. And we know that that 1 that's left over can become our numerator to the fraction that we build, 1/5, 3 and 1/5. So I'm going to go ahead and box that in. That is the answer that I will be looking for and Mrs. Cartwright will be looking for. Let's go ahead and do number 6. This time we have to think about drawing our own example. So when I read this one, I have 1/2 times 10. So that's 1/2 part of the whole set of 10. So this is part of a whole. All right, so what does that mean? If I go back to the examples in my notes, I know that I need to draw 10, but I'm going to put them into 2 groups. So remember, this tells us about our groups. So I'm just going to cut this down the middle. This would be 1/2 of the group. This would be 2 halves of the group. Now what I want to do is I want to draw 10. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I want to shade in half of the group of 10. So I want to shade in all of this group. And when I shade them in, I can see that I have 5 shaded. So what is my answer? 5. Now if I were to multiply this out and use the algorithm, I'm going to put a number 1 under the number 10 because it doesn't change the value. It still has a value of 10. But now I can simply multiply numerator times numerator to get 10. 2 times 1 to get 2. And what do you know? 10 divided by 2 is the number 5. Perfect. My picture matches my answer. And if I were to go back and I were to label these and I were to move pieces around, I surely would get 3 wholes and 1 fifth. So making sure that your equation, your answer matches your expression. Okay? So what I want you to do now is to go back, use your examples in your notes, and I'd like you to attempt to try to answer 1 through 4. You should be able to use your notes, use what we've talked about to do your best work. Turn in your paper when you are finished.